Another cultural norm
is a hierarchy.
versus equality.
Equality.
Okay, and what's happening there?
It's a top-down decision making.
Top-down decision making. Anybody else have hierarchy on their list? Yeah, it's quite a norm here in Asia. I hear. Yep. Okay. And what's the impact of hierarchy versus equality? What are you experiencing when you're experiencing hierarchy? What does it do for you? Because what I've heard in dealing with different organizations over here is that they're having problems with engagement because of hierarchy. And so it's a challenge in terms of how you make decisions. You know, is one person responsible for the decision, or is it the group decision? Sometimes if it's a decision based on building consensus, oh my God, that takes so long. And so some organizations will move away from consensus building to, you know, one person making a decision because it's faster. So you really have to manage the decision-making process. It is something that can engage people in the change process or disengage them. So there's a whole sort of thought process and learning model on how to make decisions and how you're going to do it in a facilitative way or building consensus. Just be aware that top-down hierarchy can have an impact on engagement. And if you're trying to increase engagement, you might have to look at, well, what needs hierarchy and where can maybe hierarchy come down a little bit and equality come up a little bit. But it is a real process for change, especially for leaders who were born and raised in a hierarchical organization. It's also the people in the organization who've been used to hierarchy. They're being told what to do all the time, and that feels comfortable for them. Move it to a model where, okay, now I am empowering you to make a decision. People might go, whoa. Like, you know, it might be brand new and it may be uncomfortable. They may not feel comfortable with the decision, with the responsibility. So that's why you have to be very aware, you know, set the parameters for the decision-making process. And you can be told that this is the policy, and within that policy, you decide how you're going to spend the budget, or, you know, how you're going to implement it. Sometimes you can give people a certain amount of decision-making authority or autonomy, and they can feel empowered. It doesn't all have to be in one person. You can divide it up. So that, you know, so just recognize the link between hierarchy and the impact that it has on engagement and productivity. Okay? Not that you want to do away with it, because some hierarchy is good. Right? But where can it be relaxed a little bit to give people that sense of empowerment and engagement and increased productivity? Again, we're just making you more conscious and aware of some of the impact of some values. Okay? Because quite often when you do a cultural values assessment, hierarchy will come up and it will be considered a limiting value. Why is it considered a limiting value? Because normally when people are experiencing hierarchy, it disengages them because they don't feel engaged in the decision-making process, where maybe they feel they want to be. So you need to explore and find out, okay, if people put that down as a value, then why? What's happening? You need to understand the how, right? You need to gather data. What is happening that's impacting people's engagement? Because sometimes hierarchy is not bad. Sometimes hierarchy is good. As you'll notice here on this organizational journey map, the first phase of an organization's development is the hierarchical organization. It needs to be. But if you want to grow as an organization, you move from being hierarchical to institutional to being collaborative to being the learning organization. And within each one are skills and areas to develop. But it starts as the hierarchical organization.